Where do you want to go next? If you'd like to see Liyue's tourist spots, I have a few references.
This is the Lantern Rite Gala.
You've got a few references, huh? Where exactly would that be? I mean, taking a look at the map of that. Taking a look at the map of Liyue, there aren't too many places that you need to go, really. Jingshu Pool, maybe. Lingyu Pass, maybe. The ruins aren't much to look at. Okay, maybe taking a look at the raid boss, being the Primo and Geo Bishop. Other than that, there's, maybe Jingse Village. Maybe Mount Hulao. Though, that I've heard, that place is kind of a death trap with its own organic amber. And then there's your ruined battlefield. But anyway. Nekamata. My name is Sage Blake. I'm a wanderer, storyteller, artist immature, and happy Chinese New Year! Okay, Chinese New Year was technically like maybe a week or two ago, but regardless. Genshin updated around the 3rd of this month, and its big update included, well, a typical filler event that was absolutely boring, but more importantly, the Lantern Rite Festival, which itself introduced a whole bunch of items, including a free character from the native to Liyue, well, 4-star native, rather. So I ended up buying that up for an extra copy of Ningguang, since I maxed out with Shenling. But in 10 with that is also the the new raid boss, a whole bunch of side quests relative to the Lantern Rite Festival, and also minigame, which I really hope gets to stay around, because it's really well built, and, okay, not really well built, but it's fun, is what I'm getting at. It's a fun minigame, I like it, it should stay around. So to that end, I want to show it off. And I'm probably just gonna need to set up a dedicated team for this though. So probably just pick team 3, load up.
Didn't keep you waiting, did I?
Sure.
You two. Probably Ningguang as well, considering she's able to attack from distance and
Understood.
generally be useful. And my only other animo unit being Sucrose.
I want to help.
Fine. Nothing but Earth and Wind. There's a reason for this. Because Genshin Impact is normally an action RPG. You go around, beat shit up, and get XP and that type of stuff. Theater Mechanicus is a tower defense mode. You wouldn't think it would work, but it does. So to start with, we've got a certain amount of power that we can essentially spend on towers. I'm going to set up the basics up at the front here, those being these two and recovery. I can't really set up much more than that, so just gonna have to gun it, hope for the best. Now, how this tower defense mode works is enemies are going to spawn in from purple portals like these. Case in point, we've got an absolute slew of healing shells. You can hit them as much as you want, but therein lies the issue. You will not deal damage to them. You can push them around, sure. Though mostly it's headshots with archers. With physical units, you can hit them a bunch and then shove them around after a bit. But most enemies have a sort of light armor that essentially prevents them from being shunted around too much. This is why Animo units are important, or in general units with high hit stun / knockback. Because in some instances, you can take down some of the small fries by just yeeting them off the cliff. And when it comes down to it, we might be doing that in some of the later difficulty stages. We'll see. Upon completing a wave, you get a Mystic Art. These Mystic Arts are essentially free upgrades that you get to use for the rest of the map. In this case, there's not really anything good, so I'll just take Cryomechanic Mastery.
Wine tastes the same as I remember.
So, next wave, let's throw up another ice and an electricity. We don't have too much more power, so let's leave it at that. Each of the different enemies that you encounter in the game have their own properties within this minigame that make them especially annoying to deal with. Case in point, Summaturls. Normally, they're mages that specialize in either support magic that heals allies or otherwise creates damage fields or synergistic fields, even. Here, they just blitz it at the speed of sound to your endpoint, which is the blue portal over there, and that's about it. They're made of glass otherwise, they're somewhat easy to deal with. We've also got, I want to call them Lowaturls, Metaturls. You know, the shield guys. Their shields have the same elemental properties that you might find on the world map, so there are earth shields that would require either hard physical attacks or otherwise geo units. Let's...
Every journey has its
Sure, let's show
final
this
day.
one off.
Don't rush.
Fickle traits. For the next wave, defeated monsters will... Oh, shit. Well, this sucks. Fickle means that instead of giving you a... Actually, Fickle means that the buff that it's on is going to be really, really useful. However, it's also going to give you a penalty. In this case, we cannot obtain dedicated currency to create towers from enemies we defeat this map. We gotta make do with what we've got. But on the bright side, again, the power-up that you get from that is going to be very, very useful. Right, shielded Metaturals. They've got shields. These guys have ice shields, which slowly decay over time. Generally very strong. Requires physical attacks, geo, or an elemental reaction to chip down. Wood shields would require fire. Otherwise, they just shrug off damage to the front. But of course, this being the base difficulty map, I'm not gonna struggle. I've done a lot of tower upgrading for just the event and playing this in my free time. Hell, the reason why my towers are actually so weirdly upgraded, for lack of a better term? You know what? Sure. Oh, I can't afford it. I can't afford it because I couldn't gain power. Huh, that's a new one. But yeah, the big reason why my towers look a little, weird in terms of their levels, like, the only ones being at level 5 are Glacial Bloom, this, Zephyrious Discharge, and Ordnance, is because I've been playing this with my sister, Rune of Ages. Sorry, not Rune of Ages. I believe she's called Rune of Night.
Who share the memory?
But regardless, Rune Rune and I have been tag teaming this because you can play this with exactly one other person. Which is cool, honestly, considering we've had so many difficulties with 4-player co-op events in the past for this game. Specifically because we kind of just be loners like that. Anyway. As a result, my specialty for towers ended up being electricity and ice, specifically because their reaction superconduct decreases the defenses of units affected and deals a decent amount of damage. It's across the board very useful. Meanwhile, she specialized in the recovery towers as well as fire and water. Course, at some point, I just decided, you know what, I need to grind up more of this event at some point, and I ended up unlocking all the other towers. I wanted to play this with her at some point, but unfortunately, she's been busy with her classes, so nothing doing. Hell, technically, she just unlocked the third tier missions last night. Anyway, every time you clear a map, you gain sigils. These sigils can be used to upgrade your current towers, and I believe max level is either 7 or 9 currently. I'm probably going to be upgrading water to 5 if possible. Because upgrading these towers not just increases the attack power and also the costs of the towers, but it can also give special abilities to each tower at level 3 and level 5. So for example, Rippling Reflections here, at level 3, deals hydro damage and applies wet to units within a larger field of effect than usual. At level 5, it creates mist bubbles that can trap enemies and stall them. This makes it a really useful tower for controlling crowds of enemies. Every tower has its own strengths and weaknesses depending on the element that it is. Water is really great at stalling energies, good at creating synergies, but it's fairly slow to attack, and it's not as powerful as most of the other towers. Alright, generic setup time, so... Water. Electricity. Let's put a recovery... Oh, no, wait, I can't... Right, I forgot. Upgrading towers also increases their cost. Lovely. Bright side, though, we're only dealing with enemies from 1 point, so we should be fine. Just use Zhongli to stall for hellsies. Now, again, Animo units are going to be really useful in this mode specifically because their elemental triggers can stall enemies. In the case of Venti here, pop them up into the ground, send them into soft knockdown, give you a few seconds to stall. Sucrose, being budget Venti, does about the same thing. Though she pulls enemies instead of... Well, actually, she pulls enemies to an area in addition to stalling them. But of course, Venti can snipe at enemies, and for some enemies, sniping them will allow you to not just blow them back with a headshot, but also stagger them. There are exceptions. Some enemies just cannot be staggered, period. And Cryo Mechanic Guy get an upgrade. No effects? Huh, I didn't know Fickle could do that. Anyway, I'll set up a recovery here. And we're also gonna need to siege this point. At least for right now. I can't afford anything. Crap. So I'm just gonna have to make do. On the bright side... my current towers can occupy enemies for a little bit. Set up an electricity, just in case. Terra Shield, I need to get rid of as quickly as possible. Which, again, is why Ningguang exists, since her big shtick is, hey, I throw literal Star Jade. And this is gonna need a water tower. I'm also probably gonna need to put down Arcanum. Arcanum is a unique tower that is a buff. Any towers within its field will be able to perform their duties more effectively than usual. And actually, since I have it upgraded to 3, Arcanum can affect itself. So that's gonna be especially disgusting. And you need to have your shield shattered. There we go. That should settle that wave. And Electromechanici gain more power. Unfortunately, we've got Electro Slimes, so I'm gonna need a secondary tower to deal with some of them. Probably what I'm gonna do is set up an ice tower. Actually, yeah, just leave it at that. One single solitary ice tower. Didn't exactly want that, but I gotta make do, because my points aren't looking too hot. Right side, Electro Slimes are relatively weak. They are a little quicker than some units, but even then... they're made of glass, and they're easy elemental reactions. Dealt with you. Actually, yeah, I think this is full idle sim now. Just in case, let's put up a second ice. Good. This is within range of something, so I think I can put an ordnance in there. Ordnance here is the only physical tower. It deals extra damage to shields, and especially geoshields. Got really great range, really great rate of fire, but compared to the attack power of some of the other towers, it's kinda lacking. Like, for reference, this ice tower here is base attack 700. Whilst Ordnance... actually, no, Ordnance has more power. But again, it's physical, so there are several different types of enemies that don't exactly take too much physical damage. Ooh, that's actually pretty good. Yeah, Cryo attacks an additional target, deals extra damage to Frozen. And I think we're on final wave. It shouldn't really matter too much. so I'll just leave it at that. Ruin Guards. Ruin Guards can be staggered by headshots. Be warned. Because if you perform 2 headshots, they will not stop. And they will also not regenerate their weak point. If you ever need to hit a Ruin Guard to stun it, hit it once. No more. Because otherwise, you're going to create a target that you can't stop, period. I know it's not intentional, but even still, it's kind of funny. When we complete a map, we gain sigils depending on the various things that we accomplish within the map, such as the number of enemies that make it through to the end, the amount of towers we use, the approximate time in which we take doing the map, that type of stuff. We also get bonuses for the any extra challenges that we are able to perform as well. Most specifically, very occasionally we could find challenges that are like, hey, instead of taking up a buff, we are going to impose an extra challenge, and if you succeed, you gain even more than usual. Really useful in that respect. And I think the next tower I want to upgrade will be Fire. Blazing Spark explodes, dealing pyro damage in a larger area. Then at level 5, sparks leave behind flames that continually deal damage to opponents that pass through. My Ice Tower here decreases movement speed at level 3, and Icy Explosions at level 5. Electricity, Teslas to 3 targets at once, making an area eater. And periodically it causes a lightning strike on enemies. But compared to the other towers at level 5, I think Furious Discharge is the weakest of the elemental towers. Not 100% sure, but considering that it's at 1400 and the next upgrade to Wind brings it up to 1650, yeah, I think it's safe to assume that. Actually, no. Ice is the weakest. Never mind. There are also tandem mines that I could throw down. I love mines. Just saying, I love mines. They're really cheap to... They're somewhat cheap at 40 initially. That drops to 10. That drops to like 10 or 20 when you upgrade it to level 3. At level 5, they can occasionally explode multiple times. Alright, let's get to work. To start with, I'm gonna set up the standard water and ice at the front. And over here, I should be able to construct the same thing. Oh no, wait, shoot. I accidentally did an electricity. That's fine. Those guys are gonna be fairly weak anyway. Just gonna switch to Ningguang to help stall enemies. It's also gonna help me deal with ice shields. I can't exactly deal any damage to units, but even then, the simple fact that I can use units to chip through shields, very useful. Alright, well I'm at it. Separate recovery. I'm not gonna be investing too much in fire, I don't think. So you know what? Hydromechanici get extra damage on wet targets. I can set up a recovery here. And up here, I can set up an electricity. That should help Siege for now. Though when it comes down to it, I'm probably gonna have a whole bunch of physical towers up here just to help chip. Oh, shit. Giant Geo Slimes! Oh crap. Oh crap. Oh crap. Mine! My Mine failed! Oh, it failed big time! Oh crap.
Yahoo!
The hell? Ah, crap.
Crumble.
That really didn't go well.
Stabilize.
There we go. Mine! And one more for prosperity.
Rise.
What? Ah, crap. Occupy slime. Ay, that really went south in a hurry. Yeah, I don't think I can handle a Stonehide Lowachurl, so you know what? Electro attacks faster. Dismantle this. And I'm gonna need to stall big time. I might actually have to throw up some fire. Well, once I get enough power. Yeah. There's a fire. And I want to construct an Arcanum to help accelerate the turrets here. Set up an ordnance at the back. Set up another ordnance here. Abyss Mages. Abyss Mages spawn in with elemental shields. These shields will protect them for a short time, and when the shield ruptures, they're staggered for a little bit. These units fly, but they can still trigger Mines. And you know what? Terrible idea. I feel fearless. And to that end, I think... let's dismantle this water here and get a second Arcanum. My thinking is this is going to be a secondary choke point, so I need a good amount of sieging here. At that, I'm also going to need a mine. I also need to remember that the gimmick of this stage is, hey, let's drop the bridge. So, at the worst possible scenario, I think I could just drop the bridge and stall it instead. Wow, that Frost Arm is dying. Standard Shieldless Metaturals are tankier versions of the Samachurls. So they're just gonna book it as quickly as they can and be very annoying. Kinda glad that this setup's working. And by the look of it, we've just got 3 mages left. Cool. Unfortunately, there's no way to, like, forcibly advance the next wave. But hey, I wasn't expecting as much. This is still a really fun mode. Speedy Mitachurl. I think I can handle that.
Osmanthus
Just in
wine
case, let's
tastes the
not,
same as I
and
remember.
upgrade the Electro.
But where are those who share the memory?
I still have an emergency Mine, just in case. Lawachurls. They are massive, hulking beasts that completely shrug off damage. Maybe if you're lucky, a headshot can stagger them. Again, if you're lucky. More often than not, you won't be. And construct an extra mine. Yeah, as you're seeing right there, I only barely staggered that guy. On the bright side, though, clear. Defended for the time limit. Yeah. The higher the difficulty, the more enemies you'll encounter, the stronger enemies you'll encounter, but you'll also get a multiplier for the amount of sigils you'll learn, making it easier to upgrade your towers, and at that, buy up stuff in the shop. And yes, there's a specific event shop. I could probably show it once this loads. Because I think I have enough for the background, finally. Oh, and there's also this. So, some challenges that I can just complete. Shell Market. For 14 days, you can access the Shell Market and trade in peace talismans that you earn from Theater Mechanicus. You can trade these in for items such as XP books, specific minerals for level up, Dust of Azoth, which is a new item that allows you to transmute these elemental stones into one another, a Crown of Insight, which is a powerful material that you can use to upgrade character abilities to level 10, and a whole bunch of books for also character skill upgrades. Also an exclusive background that you can pick up. And I think I'm gonna buy some more Duke books. In order to play Theater Mechanicus, you need to have Xiao Lanterns. And for a brief intermission, let's show off those quick.